All right. So I'm not feeling 100% yet. I know some of you don't want me to record a video and get better. It's not happening. Here's why. So before we get into it, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Let's dive in. So Puka Nacua is the offensive rookie of the year. I've seen enough. He did it in front of everybody last night. 160 plus yard game, a touchdown, 9 catches, the usual Puka Nacua blow up game. But here's the deal. Okay. Bill Groman in 1960 with the Houston Oilers has the all-time record, 14 games. He has 1,473 receiving yards on 72 receptions. That is the rookie record. And I don't want to take anything away from him. 12, receiving touchdowns. That's insane. Puka Nacua has played more games than Groman. So in that sense, Groman does deserve credit. But Nacua has 96 receptions. He has 1,327 yards, 5 touchdowns. And this guy he's second in the league in targets, and he's caught 10 of 23, contested catches, which, by the way, is tied right now with CeeDee Lamb and, of course, Stephon Diggs. It's more than Keenan Allen. So, how do you not give it to him? CJ Stroud is having a great year. 13 games. He's 7-6 in those games. He's a 62.4 completion percentage. He's got 3,631 yards, 20 touchdowns, only 5 interceptions, and an average of 8.2 yards per attempt. However, Stroud did not play well in his last game, was concussed, and is going to miss his second game. Now, is it fair? Yes, it is fair. It absolutely is. Look, Carson Wentz should have won MVP in 2017. He did not because he got hurt. Tom Brady ended up winning that year. I mean, Todd Gurley probably should have, but that's not the point. The point is, part of winning these awards and having these accolades is finishing the season. And Puka Nacua playing the way he does right now with 15 games. First off, he's 50 away next week from tying Anquan Bolden for 4th all time. Okay. He is not far away from passing Justin Jefferson, who finished with 1,400 yards in 16 games. And Jamar Chase came close to the record, but did not acquire the record in 17. There's a chance Puka Nacua could break the record next week against the New York Giants. Regardless, if he breaks the record or not, he's the offensive rookie of the year for me. And it's not because I'm a Rams fan. The fact of the matter is, you are setting a bad precedent if you vote for CJ Stroud. Stroud missed 2 games. He's been great, but he missed 2 games. His last game, he wasn't great against a good defense. And Stroud's not perfect. I mean, 20 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, that's really good and all, but Puka Nacua, what he's doing week in and week out, and we've already seen him, what he does with Cooper Kupp on the field, what he does without Cooper Kupp on the field, what he does with Tutu Atwell, what he does with Demarcus Robinson, what he does when Kyren Williams isn't out there versus when Kyren Williams is. I mean, Puka is your offensive rookie of the year. It's not really up for debate. Bijan Robinson didn't end up being what we were expecting. That means the 5th rounder is the best rookie in the league. I mean, now don't get me wrong, there are other rookies that are definitely having great seasons, but nothing on the level of Puka Nacua. You look at his contested catch rate, you look at what he's doing as a blocker, which I think just doesn't get talked about enough because there's no way to really quantify that, but just the tape shows it. He's been an outstanding blocker. He's turned 11 personnel into a 12 personnel grouping. He's essentially been a tight end on those plays when they want to run it out of 11. He's just really impressive, really intelligent, really conscientious player, really hard-nosed and tough. And he's a big reason why the Rams have won 8 games this year. Stafford's been incredible, but even when Stafford wasn't playing at this level, Puka was still stepping up. So here's the deal. I think Puka Nacua is going to break the record. Does he have the credit taken away a little bit because he didn't do it in 14 games? Maybe. Groman did do it in 14. It's also a different time period, I guess. So it's hard to really compare the two. But the bottom line is, if Puka Nacua breaks this record, regardless, he is the offensive rookie of the year, but there's no excuse. CJ Stroud has had a really good year. And if he stayed healthy, he would have won. He's a quarterback playing on a team that a lot of people thought wasn't going to win many games. I had them winning 6 or 7, but still, I didn't think that they would be in the playoff race come, week 17. The fact of the matter is that availability still matters when it comes to accolades. In a 17-game season, he's only played 13 games. If he comes back next week and the week after, that's 15 games to Puka Nacua's 15 right now. So if Puka Nacua finishes the season playing all 17 games the way he's playing wide receiver, that's impressive. He's dealt with rib issues and like legs and, lower body stuff. I mean, he's been hurt all year, essentially. Sean McVay has talked about limiting him in practice. He's just fought through it. So the fact of the matter is that Puka Nacua is your offensive rookie of the year. And if you disagree, there's not really anything to disagree on. You're just probably not a fan of him or the Rams. The fact of the matter is that he's done everything you could ask for in a receiver. He's up there with the best of the best. And in those games where he does falter, he comes back and he has 160 the next game. So, look, I understand. If CJ Stroud, didn't get hurt, he probably wins it. But at some point or another, especially this season, when I don't think really a quarterback is worthy of winning the MVP, they're just going to win it because it's the quarterback award, essentially. How are we going to make this a precedent set? How are we going to give this to CJ Stroud after he missed 2 games? The last game wasn't great against the Jets defense. How are we going to give it to him? Because if that happens, then the offensive rookie of the year as we know it is a quarterback award. It has been turned into a quarterback award just as much as the MVP. The MVP of the NFL this year would likely be Christian McCaffrey for me. That's why I feel like voting for, Brock Purdy's a little ridiculous. I'm not saying ridiculous, but there's still, something there. Offensive rookie of the year, if Nacua plays every single game and you give it to a guy that played 2 fewer, and, he's not, and I don't want to take anything away from Stroud. He's been really good, but 20-5 is not 40 and 40-8 or whatever. 20 touchdowns is 20 touchdowns. I mean, 20 touchdowns in 13 games is good, but it's not the craziest thing we've ever seen. So that's what I have to say about that. I think last night showed it. I feel like an offensive rookie of the year has to have their shining moment, and obviously I think Stroud has done that, but I think Puka's done that more times than we can count. He's had some incredible plays. He's had some big-time performances. I just don't really see how it wouldn't be Puka Nacua in this juncture. I mean, he's just so impressive to me. Looking what he's done this year, it's just been amazing. I mean, just watching him starting off his career, 15 targets in the first game, no Cooper Kupp. This guy barely got any burn, in camp until Kupp went down. I mean, he still got some burn, with the ones, but not a ton. To go 10 of 15 in his first game for 119 yards against Seattle, that Seattle secondary. Then you go, you play against the 49ers where he gets 15 of 20 for 147 yards. And then you go 5 for 72 against Cincinnati in primetime. They held you in check a little bit, but if that's holding you in check, I mean, that's your worst game is 72 yards at that point. Then you go for 163, a touchdown. And oh, by the way, big defining moment for him was the game winner in overtime against an Indianapolis Colts team that was better than maybe we all thought. Then he has a 7-catch, 71 and touchdown performance against Philly. Then he has a down game, kind of integrating, Cooper Kupp. This is the Kyron Williams game. 4 catches, 26 yards. No worries. The next game, Kyron Williams is out. He steps up in a big way. He's not the reason they lost to the Steelers. 8 of 12 for 154 yards. They had no answer for him. The Dallas game just came down to the fact, I mean, it was just a bad game. Blowout kind of changes like the game script and everything. And, of course, Brett Rippon playing, most of the third quarter into the fourth. Then you have Green Bay, 3 catches, 32 yards. Brett Rippon's playing. Seattle in a 17-16 performance. He catches a touchdown, 5 for 70. Arizona, 4 for 27. That's another Kyron Williams runaway game. Cleveland goes 4 for 105 and a touchdown against one of the best defenses in the league and a tough defense to throw against. Baltimore goes for 5 for 84 in the pouring rain on the road. Then Washington goes 5 for 50. And then, of course, New Orleans 9 for 164, which is his best game of his career in terms of yards. So he's been really rock steady. I mean, he's had some moments. Okay, 4 for 27 was a down game, but it just feels like this guy, like his just floor is so high. And that's not accounting for what he's doing, making an impact when his stats aren't really high, and what he's doing in the run game as a blocker, but also as a runner. I mean, you look at some of these, 2 for 34. He had a one taken back in one of the games. They threw a flag late. I think it was the Cleveland Browns game. He had a 31-yard run in that one as well. But you look at him, he's so confident. He plays so above what you would expect. He's way beyond his years. And he's offensive rookie of the year. And I liked him coming out of BYU. I saw him as a better receiver version of Debo, because I thought he was more kind of like a better than a gadget guy, but kind of like a gadget guy. Loved his sideline awareness. He and Jaron Hall were always kind of on the same page, but I never finished my eval on him, so I don't know where I would have graded him. But I'm just glad, the Rams picked 2 guys before they picked Puka Nacua in the 5th round. The 49ers picked a receiver the next round. They passed on Puka Nacua. Thank God for it. But I think the Rams have the offensive rookie of the year in 2023, and I think it's well-deserved. So, shout out to Puka Nacua. Congrats on an incredible season. That's not even over yet. You still have 2 more games, but I think he's going to break the record, folks. I think it's going to happen when I'm at the game on New Year's Eve against the Giants. I'm also thinking that game could end up being a fun little blowout, but we'll see. Do you guys think, Puka Nacua is the offensive rookie of the year? Let me know in the comments section below. You can follow me at JK Boga on all socials. That's going to do it for me. Appreciate you guys. You guys take care. I'll see you guys soon. Later.
Start playing Pick'em or Weekly Fantasy for any sport today, Jake. Users will receive a 100% deposit match up to $100 if they use promo code OTE at sign up. Start playing Pick'em and Weekly Fantasy Football today with Underdog Fantasy.
Do you love talking about the Rams, the NFL, or just want to be a part of a community? Join my free Discord server today. We're over 800 members. We got 24/7 live chat, a level 3 boosted server, the ability to call into JE Live, playing online games with us on Kick streams, toggleable alerts for when I go live on YouTube or Kick so you don't miss a live stream, and exclusive giveaways. Click the link in the description, the comments section, or the link that comes up in the video to learn more and join today.